All right. What's everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of CTA Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Cody Kimberlin, with my co-host Trevor Henson and Adam Kent. Today, we're going to be going over our top 10 running backs. What we did is each of us made a list of our top 10s, and then we made a consensus rating that we're going to come out with a PDF for you guys in the future to show you guys who we have this year in 2023 fantasy. We're going to start off with our RB1. It is actually our consensus RB1. All three of us had him at the number 1 spot. It is, you guessed it, Christian McCaffrey. Trevor, we'll let you take over and start us with CMC.
Yeah, we had a healthy Christian McCaffrey last year in 2022. And then he also, of course, got his move to the 49ers, which kind of rejuvenated his fantasy value as well. So he's kind of attached to that Kyle Shanahan, and he's under contract there. I think it's till like 2025 season. So he remains still a dual threat running back. It's hard to go against him as a number 1 running back. He's got Elijah Mitchell in the backfield with him too, which, I have my doubts what that could cause too, just from stats from last year. But still, overall, he put together 199 carries for about 1,000 yards and hauled in like 64 targets. So for another 500 or 600 yards and receptions. So I think he's going to continue to be that engine, and he's going to continue to be that guy that drives that team forward in the offense. So that's my take on Christian McCaffrey.
I like it.
agree.
Adam, what do you have to add?
It's pretty easy on CMC. There's really not much debate. I feel like two through 5 you could jumble around, but 1 was pretty easy. Last year after he got to the 49ers, he had 10 touchdowns in 11 games. I think one of the games he barely played. I think he was nursing an injury. They barely played him, so technically 10 in 10 games. He averaged like 20 touches a game, either receiving or rushing. I expect the same this year with Mitchell. They'll probably give him about 20 touches a game, keep him healthy. But what he does with those 20 touches, the guy's electric. So, it's pretty easy. I think he's the easy RB1. And after that, I think we'll have some debating.
I agree. I think that Christian McCaffrey leaving that Panthers offense and going to the 49ers puts him in the position to have even more of a touchdown upside because he's on an elite offense with playmakers all over the field. Easily our RB1 overall consensus. And until someone claims that throne, I feel like he'll be the RB1 possibly even next year. But we're going to be moving on to our consensus RB2 for the year. I have this man at 3. Trevor has him at 2, and Adam has him at 3, which is Mr. Austin Ekeler. He has been the RB1 2 years in a row. Trevor, what would you like to add on Mr. Austin Ekeler?
I have him number 2. He's 28, but he's finished as a top 10 PPR running back in 3 of the last 4 seasons. He did kind of explore the trade market this year, but it looks like they did go ahead and agree on like a $1.75 million extension for the final season of his contract. So Eckler's a worker. He's going to keep producing. I don't think any of that's going to set him back. So he's led the NFL in touchdowns both of the past 2 seasons, scoring 38 times in 33 appearances while averaging 96.8 total yards. So what's not to like about him, and it's somebody that's proven, veteran. I know who y'all probably have as y'all's number 2. We'll see, but I'm sure y'all let me know. I'm curious now, but if it's the rookie, I get it, but I think Ekeler earned this spot and should be up there with Christian McCaffrey.
I like it. Adam, what would you like to add on Austin Ekeler?
I had in mind Saquon too, but Ekeler, the only reason I think Ekeler might drop a tick down, last year had 127 targets. I just can't see that holding up again. They drafted Quentin Johnson, rookie receiver. And if you remember last year, Keenan Allen was hurt a lot. Mike Williams was hurt a lot. They were so depleted that it was like only Ekeler. So I feel like hopefully they'll be a little healthier this year and they'll want to bring his touches down just a little bit. 127 targets is insane. So I figure even if he gets like 95 targets, he'll still get a lot of catches. One thing I think they have a tough matchup if you're looking fantasy playoffs in week 16. They face the Bills, so that could be a tough matchup at the end of the year for him.
Okay. I think that I put Austin Ekeler at 3. I have him that high because I feel like out of all running backs, he probably has the safest floor. Ekeler finishing RB1 2 years in a row. I mean, I feel pretty good about drafting him in the first round. It's not somebody I'm targeting myself, but I mean, he's somebody that you can safely leave the first round with and feel comfortable. Our consensus RB3, I had him at 2. Trevor has him at 3, and Adam has him at 4. Is Bichon Robinson, the rookie for the Atlanta Falcons? Trevor, let's have you start with Mr. Bichon.
Yeah, so Bijan, I mean, he's a rookie. A lot of people new to fantasy be like, why would you be putting a rookie this high up starting out the year? But the over the years, probably the past 10 to 15 years, if you look at first round running backs that go like that, they usually end up being a top 5 or 10 running back their rookie year. The only person probably that didn't do it was CJ Spiller in 2010. He was kind of a failure that year. But other than that, you got like people like Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, Todd Gurley, Trent Richardson, all these different backs that have been drafted, and they all were a top
Straight
10
out the
running
gate.
back. And a couple, I mean, Saquon Barkley would be the guy you'd compare him to. He's built like him, I'd say. He's thickly built, explosive. We all saw what he did at UT. I don't think I need to explain that. He did it to very good teams too, including Alabama. And then the other part, the plus, why he's also ranked so high is the offense he's in with the Falcons. They're top 1 or 2 running backs. So right there with the Bears. So I believe he's the right guy at number 3.
Okay. Adam, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the same with Bijan. The only one thing I gotta say is in college, his last 2 years, he had 26 catches and 19 catches. I know he wasn't really needed to receive the ball, but it seems like a lot of people think he's gonna catch the ball a lot, and I'm gonna wait to see if that happens or not. And one thing with him though, I'm big on who these guys play the last 3 or 4 weeks of the season. Obviously, some guys have different, some fantasy leagues have different playoff schedules, but Bijan's last 4 games in the playoff schedule would be the Bucks, Panthers, Colts, and Bears. I mean, those are all teams that we all think are going to be pretty bad. So, I mean, that's huge. If Bijan's rolling and that's who he plays in the fantasy playoffs, this guy could be putting up 20-point games, and that's huge when you're looking to draft someone. I feel like you always got to look ahead.
I agree. He's someone coming out that is the highest rated running back prospect since Saquon Barkley. He's going to the number 1 rushing offense. This offense was able to make Cordero Patterson and Tyler Algier both look like studs, and they're backup running backs on any other roster. So somebody this talented coming in, I feel like he is just going to be peppered with targets. I know you're saying that he hasn't caught a lot, but if you watched any of the OTAs and mini camps, like he's got hands. Like
I agree.
Part.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping.
The one thing.
Go ahead.
I was going to say the one thing, sorry, that I would add real quick is Bijan's coach, obviously Arthur Smith, he had Derrick Henry when Henry was coming up. So I feel like he knows how to groom these running backs. So I feel like that's also a big plus for him as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So our number 4, we had him at 4th, 5th, and 2nd. Adam is the highest on him. It's Saquon Barkley. We'll let Adam start with him.
Yeah, I'm a huge Saquon fan. Always have been. He used to kill Michigan all the time when he was at Penn State. I think it's also because he reminds me a lot of Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders is my all-time favorite athlete. Saquon led the league in lost rushes. He had like 70 plays go negative, but then the guy just breaks one for 40. So I mean, his big play ability is huge. He had 1,700 yards and 10 touchdowns last year. And I also think adding Darren Waller is going to help give them a big weapon, spread the field out a little bit more. And yeah, I'm big on Saquon. I'll probably try to draft him. I know some of my leagues I'm picking around 8th, so hopefully I can get him at 8. But we'll see where he goes.
Okay. I like it. I agree with you on the Darren Waller addition. I feel like that's going to open the field up more. Daniel Jones's rushing ability also helps
Yes.
Saquon tremendously. Trevor, what do you want to add on Mr. Saquon Barkley?
Yeah, I have him as my number 4 back. Last year was a good comeback pick for him as well with everything he got to do last year. He did get tagged with that franchise tag in March, but they are still working through some contract stuff. And he even did make a hint that he may even hold out if they don't come up with a deal soon, even though they did kind of start opening up discussions again. So he is a good back. He'll definitely, in a PPR format, depending on your point system, average you a good 20 points a game, each consistently, not just a one-off big game and then nothing. He's pretty dang consistent to give you about 20 points PPR. So that's my take on Saquon.
Okay. My dad is the biggest Giants fan on earth, and he luckily told me that Saquon has been posting pictures of him working out with fellow Giants players. So it made him feel better about the contract situation coming up. We're going to move on to number 5. This running back is my 5th overall, Trevor's 4th, and Adam's 7th. It is Jonathan Taylor of the Indianapolis Colts. He is a young stud, had number 1 fantasy finish a couple years ago, was a letdown last year. Adam, go ahead and take over for us on Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, obviously I have him a little lower than you guys. The injuries, one, they really scare me. 2 out of 3 years he's been kind of banged up. And also I think Anthony Richardson, he's going to have to run a lot. So I think they're going to do a lot of design runs for Anthony Richardson. And I mean, obviously I have him 7, so I don't think he's going to have a bad year. I just don't see him being a top 5 running back. He's had 1169, 1811, and then 861 rushing yards. So, I mean, I think he'll probably fall around 1,200. I don't see him getting back to the 1811 that he did a few years ago when he was, drafted RB. He was drafted a lot of drafts 1st or 2nd overall last year, him and Cooper Kupp. So, I mean, he does average 5.1 a carry for his career. So we'll see. They really don't have anyone behind him. Zach Moss is the only one behind him. So that does help him, but I just think they're going to use Anthony Richardson to run a lot like he did at Florida. So yeah, okay. I got to have him at 7th.
I'm at 5. I'm kind of the opposite of you. I feel like, I'm trying to rank not on injury and just on talent. So like, I feel like, kind of like the Daniel Jones situation with Saquon, it helps open him up a little bit more. And I also feel like him being a rookie quarterback, they're going to rely on Jonathan Taylor a lot more than normal. Like, he's going to get that much more of a workload just because they're going to try to have Anthony Richardson feel a little more comfortable. A lot of check downs, that kind of thing. So I'm hoping for a big PPR year from Jonathan Taylor. Trevor, what would you like to add?
Yeah, I mean, I have him ranked so high for a reason. Jonathan Taylor's an amazing back. He's still young. He's only 24. I mean, yeah, they got a lot of questions going into this year on that team, but also as a long-term quarterback, is Richardson going to work out the way everybody's thinking he's going to work out and all that? But they're still going to run the ball. He's the clear number 1 back there. There's no change. He does have his injury, so we are all hoping he doesn't have any type of ankle because he did. He's there. I mean, to be honest, he has sat out for the Colts spring practices. But he's hoping he'll be ready for the start of training camp next month. So, I mean, We'll see. And the one big encouragement I do have is they did hire the former Eagles offensive coordinator as their head coach. So that's a big plus for me too with him. So things could easily turn around, and if he stays healthy. So I'm going to be optimistic about him. You know how we can go with running backs, but I'm going to stay high on him. Yeah.
Okay. So next is our 6th ranked running back, Nick Chubb. We actually all had him at 6. He's the only other unanimous pick that we have besides Christian McCaffrey. I feel like Nick Chubb is the most pure runner in the league. Adam, let's start with you.
Yeah. I probably, if I had to redo my list after reading a lot of stuff today, some podcasts, I might even have made Chubb a little bit higher. This is a guy that I'm definitely targeting in all my drafts if I can get him. I mean, he's had 1494, 1067, 1259, and 1525 rushing. The guy averages 5 yards a carry every year. His touchdowns are 8 or more every year. And with Kareem Hunt being gone, there is nobody behind him. I mean, they might as well put me and Trevor back there because there's nobody else back there. So he had 27 receptions last year. Back in 2019, he had 36. I think he's going to touch close to that 40 reception mark. Deshaun Watson does do a lot of checkdowns. He starts scrambling, he'll check the ball down, and I mean he's going to play all three downs. A lot of times Nick Chubb has came out of the game on third down for Kareem Hunt. Hunt's gone. They don't have a capable third down running back. It's going to be Nick Chubb as long as he stays healthy and he can handle the workload. I mean, if he goes for another 1,400 yard, rushing year and he has 40 catches, I mean, that's RB1 territory in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I like it. I like the take. Trevor, what would you like to add on 9-inch Nicholas Chubb?
Not much to add there. He hit on all the top points for him. He's proven what he can do as a running back. I think he's still got another couple seasons to produce at high end. He's 27, so I would expect a couple more years. And I don't expect any different. I don't see anybody else really in the backfield, at least for right now, unless somebody shines out of their current, whoever they have on their depth chart. I haven't really looked into their backfield much, honestly. But I think he's going to keep sustaining his value as he does every year and keep going and trucking along.
I like it. So statistic for you listening that are making a decision on your running back in the first round based on age. The drop-off for running backs is normally around the 29-year mark. Big names that have dropped off at 29 include like Marshawn Lynch, Arian Foster, a bunch of different guys like that. So if you're waiting, if you're looking for somebody like, Nick Chubb, he's only, like Trevor said, 26, 27. He's got another 2 to 3 years left in him until he's great. So go ahead and draft Nick Chubb and set it and forget it. Our number 7 on the list, we have Tony Pollard. He is me and Trevor's number 7, and Adam is higher on him. He's got him at 5. So since Adam is the highest, we'll let him start. Adam, take over for us on Tony Pollard.
Yeah, this is one of the guys I really liked watching last year, and then I kind of dug a little deeper into his stats and stuff. Last year, Ezekiel Elliott was 4th in the whole NFL in red zone points. He had 83.4 red zone fantasy points. Elliott's gone. Who's going to get most of those points? Probably Pollard. And Pollard was 13th with 55 fantasy points. So, I mean, he's going to have a lot of touchdown opportunities. Last year, you saw they always pulled Pollard out and they put Elliott in. I mean, they're not going to pull him out anymore. He's their bell cow. They really have nobody behind him. They got a rookie and Malik Davis. I mean, they're just kind of like Nick Chubb. I don't see anybody behind him that's very capable at all. Last year, he was the RB8 in fantasy. And that was with Ezekiel Elliott. This is another guy I feel like, if next year he's getting drafted 2nd or 3rd overall in these drafts, it's not going to surprise me one bit. So, yeah, I'm pretty big on him. And, I wouldn't be surprised maybe 1,600 yards. I'm real big on him.
Okay. Trevor, what would you like to add?
Yeah, same. I've been big on him. I don't have him ranked quite that high. I mean, he's at 7 for me. But he's still, if he comes to me as a 2nd round or somehow 3rd round, I definitely would take him as my next pick for sure if he's still there. He is returning from his fibula fracture, but from everything I've read, he's ahead of schedule in his recovery. He plans to be ready for the start of training camp, and he even said he's not really limited at this point. So I think he's poised to lead this backfield, and I'm expecting some big things just like I did last year.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree. With Zeke being gone, unless something happens and the Cowboys sign Zeke back, on a lower deal, I think that Tony Pollard is going to be the guy. Out of my lower ranked running backs that I have on this list, I think Tony Pollard is. Him and one other guy have the potential to finish top 3, definitely. So
one quick thing. I feel like he had 14.5 touches a game last year. There's no way he's only getting that this year. And he finished 8th overall with that. So like you said, he definitely has top 2 or 3 potential, I think.
Yeah. Let's move to our running back 8. It's Derrick Henry. King Henry has finished in the top 5 the last couple of years. He's entering his year 29 season. Trevor, let's start with you on Derrick Henry.
Well, that's one of my guys. He's won me plenty of leagues over the past couple of years. Some positive insight on him is he's already putting in a lot of time towards this new offense. He's absorbing it. He spent more time in Nashville this off season compared to previous years. He's been in town for all 6 of the Titans' voluntary OTAs, including Tuesday's mini camp. I've been following him closely because I'm such a high person on him, to where I really want to pick him if I can in some way. It all depends on what draft pick you got as well. But he's trying to get up to speed quick. He's trying to use to and learn everything with this offensive coordinator, Tim Kelly. So he's, of course, he's 28, 29 years old, and he logged like 350 carries in 16 games last year. So, I don't see that. Yeah, they got Spears coming in, and another rookie running back, but they're rookies that they're drafting the 3rd or 4th round. Not saying a 3rd or 4th rounder can't come around and be one of the next best.
Yeah.
It's been proven over and over that can happen, but I don't see them going in and just all of a sudden being like taking, like they respect Henry. I think they're going to give him what he needs to maintain that high volume, and then try to fit these other guys in to see how they fit in with this new offense. But it sounds like they still got a lot of figuring out to do, but they're still going to keep him as one of their main backs. And I don't expect anything changing running or catching. I think he's still going to do what he's been doing this year.
Yeah. I don't think there's any slowing down for Derrick Henry, at least this year for sure. I know I stated there is an outlier when it comes to, once running backs hit that 29-year mark, that's when most start slowing down. But Derrick Henry is a freak. He's not a normal person. He's, a 6'4", 240, 250-pound running back that's just going to be running through everybody. Still going to get 300 touches. I love him. I would draft him at the end of the 1st round, start of the 2nd for sure. Adam, what would you like to add on Derrick Henry?
Yeah, and there's, like both of you guys are saying, there's really nobody behind him. The 29-year-old thing, this guy's built like a freak. He's like a LeBron James. He's just in shape. It does worry me just a little bit that he has 1,200 carries the last 4 years. That's just a lot of miles on anyone's body. And he bruises. He gets hit a lot. 2 years ago, 2021, he did miss some time. So there is a little risk for injury, but the talent is undeniable. Their offense, they really don't have much else besides him. So the thing that does scare me is if they get behind in a lot of games, will they keep him on the field, or will they put someone like Tajay Spears on the field? That could be difficult because I don't see them being a very good team. But he does get the ability to play the Houston Texans in the fantasy playoffs. And I know you pointed out one of our previous shows, he kills the Texans. He is the Texans king. So that definitely is big that he gets to play the Houston Texans in the fantasy playoffs.
Absolutely. Moving on to our RB9, we have last year's stud Josh Jacobs. I have him at 9, Trevor at 8, and Adam at 10. Trevor's the highest on him, so we'll start with Trevor. What do you want to add on Mr. Josh Jacobs?
Yeah, so he's still there is some concern with some things going on with that franchise tender, and he's ineligible for mandatory mini camp right now. But the coach there, Josh McDaniels, he didn't appear to be too concerned with the situation. He says he respects the process, and he's looking forward to seeing Jacobs in July. Other than that, I haven't seen anything from Jacobs where he's not completely. It does give me a little concern just because the whole franchise tender thing, and then him becoming ineligible. So I'm kind of curious if he's going to wait till that deadline and then see what happens. But he should. He put up a lot of yards last year. I see if everything falls into place for that team. He's still young. He's 25. He's still going to be able to put up a lot of points for that team and what they got going on. I actually just recently, after putting that consensus together, after reading a lot of different things over the past day or two, I've kind of fallen back on him, to be honest, to where I might take him out of my top 10. So
Okay.
you could tell I'm a little concerned right now.
I hear you. Adam, what do you want to add on Alabama talent, Josh Jacobs?
I'm just gonna quickly go as we run out of time here. Yeah, I would probably take him out of my top 10 too. That's funny that he said that. I was gonna say the same thing. I think the guys like Travis Etienne will be above him, Najee Harris above him. I just don't like the Raiders team very much. I don't think they're very talented. And really, but outside of last year's season, I mean, the guy's averaged 4 yards a carry, 3.9 yards a carry. He hasn't been anything special. He's not going to be horrible. I mean, I think he's definitely going to be a mid second round talent. I just don't see him being a first round pick. I think maybe later second round, but maybe around running back 12 or 13, I guess, if I had to redo it. But yeah.
We're going to move on to our RB10. Aaron Rodgers' new weapon, Mr. Breece Hall. Last year, easily would have finished as the offensive rookie of the year if he didn't get hurt. Me and Trevor have him at 10. Adam actually has him sitting a little lower outside of his top 10. Trevor, what would you like to say about Breece Hall?
Yeah, I really like Breece Hall. I really wanted him last year. I think he would have had a really excellent rookie year last year if he wouldn't have had the ACL tear. And it happens. A lot of running backs got that and then bounce right back. I think he's going to do that. He is still waiting to become completely what he was. But I have heard a lot of positive things that he's looking more powerful already. He already hit over 22 miles per hour on their GPS monitored on the workouts that they do to get his knee back up and going. So the coach, everybody, they're very optimistic. I'm not seeing any concern there. I think they're just like any other person coming off an ACL tear. They're just trying to be cautious, make sure he's ready to go. Don't push it too hard and just get him hurt right back again. And things, put him right back in that same spot. And then we Breece Hall next year at all, unless it's a backup running back. So they're hoping he'll be ready for training camp. I'm hoping he'll be ready for training camp. I want to see him do big things. He's got Aaron Rodgers under him. I've always been a huge Aaron Rodgers fan. Packers have always been kind of like my bandwagon team usually. I'm not very high on them right now, but as long as he doesn't get to miss any games, he's easily a top 10 back. I don't see that. I don't think, I would hope no one else would disagree, but if he's healthy and able to make every game with that team, how I'm being optimistic with the Jets this year, to hopefully get to a playoff run. They were close last year, just had some inefficiencies in certain areas in passing, but I think they just fixed that with Aaron Rodgers, and Breece Hall's about to explode.
I like the take. Adam, is there anything that you would quickly like to add on Mr. Breece Hall?
I just think that he tore his ACL late in October, so I'm not sure he's going to be 100% start of the season. I see him having a slow start, which would push him, back out of my top 10. That's why I didn't have him in the top 10. One quick stat, he led the league in yards before contact, 4 yards a carry before contact, which is crazy. I mean, that number's unheard of. That's most likely going to drop a little bit, which I think will bring his production down just a little bit. I think he's a great talent, but do they want to, risk farther injury on their young running back when they have Michael Carter, Zovion Knight, who we saw fill in pretty good last year? So I think they'll ease him along, kind of like Javonte Williams will be. So I think next year we'll be saying Breece Hall, top 5, maybe top 8. This year, I don't see it. Not that he's going to have a bad year. I just see them slowing it down on him.
Okay. I like the take. Thank you guys for listening to our top 10 PPR running backs. These are our consensus ratings. Tomorrow we will be doing our 11 through 20 for you guys. So be sure to tune in. We're going to be letting our videos come out every day starting tomorrow. They're going to be releasing at noon. So make sure you turn on notifications, hit the like button, share with your friends. We're going to be doing our best to have daily uploads as much as possible. Thank you all for listening, and be sure to catch us in the next one.